Yes.
And welcome back, or welcome if you join us now. I have here with me Aldje van Meer from Willem de Koningen. Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
And feel free to introduce yourself briefly if you would like to.
Hi, everyone. My name is Aldje van Meer, and I'm working at the Willem de Kooning Academy, Rotterdam, in the Netherlands. And I'm the project lead of the Willem de Kooning Academy. We worked with a great team within the WDKA on Me, You, Us, with Annette, Leroy, Paulina, well, a lot of people. But yeah, I'm senior lecturer at the Willem de Kooning Academy, and here to present the outcomes of the project and the roadmap. But I give you the word again, Christel, to introduce this.
Yeah, thank you very much, Aldje. And I also have Tia with me here, my trusted wingmate, without whom I wouldn't be here. So thank you very much, Tia. Would you a short introduction to yourself as well?
Okay, I wasn't prepared. I'm a project assistant in this for Christel, and I'm here to, how do you say, admit people in and be a background moderator for this now. Good.
Yeah, Tia's a pillar. This session here is going to be about a presentation of our roadmap. This is, in short, it's the key findings and the recommendations. And we have chosen to do it like this. So for 20 minutes, Aldje and I will engage in the conversation about going back in the 3 years and what we did and all the discussions we had and why we did it and what we found out. And then we'll sum it up with the recommendations for industry and policymakers, but along the way there will already be some recommendations for education as well. Then after the 20 minutes, we would like you to engage as well. So there'll be a little poll, and also you'll be able to ask questions, comment, perhaps you had great experiences with something you want to share. So this is going to be sort of just us first, and then we'll invite you in as well. So without further ado, I think we should start. Then Aldje, we talked about how we should do this together, and we were talking about going back the 3 years and see what happened, and going back to the first initial developments and thoughts we have. And as I mentioned earlier, this was about the module called Me. So Aldje, could you tell a little bit about what
Yeah, so
what we talked about then?
Yeah, I think it's good also to mention that yeah, Christel worked really hard on on this beautiful document, the roadmap, where we actually describe all our findings and recommendations. So I think this 20 minutes is we will do, yeah, we cannot tell everything what is in the report. So I would recommend you to, after this session, download it, read it later. But what I will try to do is, or what we try to do is pick out some of our findings. And so I'll start with the work package 2, the module 1, what was about me. So this overall goal of this work package was to introduce first-year bachelor fashion and textile students to new digital skills and knowledge through experiential learning. And the students gained new competencies in 3D virtual prototyping, and they experienced how the digital technology minimizes material waste. So to start, I think it was, I would like to mention that it was such a privilege to collaborate across 3 art schools and be able to rethink our curriculum together. And what made this project truly special was the shared attitude that we all were learners. And I think this is quite a crucial aspect of working with digital technologies in general, changing so fast. And especially in today's educational context, I think within the Netherlands, we are confronted with budget cuts and heavy workloads. So having the time and space to learn alongside colleagues is becoming rare and valuable. And the other thing I would like to mention is that the project was never just about the digital tools, but it was about using them meaningfully. And sorry? Oh. So to using them meaningfully, so from the beginning, the digital tools were always to support ideas around sustainability, inclusivity, and diversity. And working with international partners and industry experts gave us very diverse perspectives and reminded us that the content and its impact always comes first, and that learning together is key. So that was the first finding I wanted to share with you. Two other things I would like to talk about regarding this first module we developed. One of the most important lessons from the first module is the need to connect analog and digital workflows. So both in the course and in the teaching approach. So especially in the first year, students often have somewhat a romantic idea of fashion design. And that, I think, it's why it's crucial to integrate these digital tools meaningfully right from the start of their education. It's also funny that Fernanda was also talking about that. But yes, start as quick as possible, I would say. At WDKA, for example, we developed the first module where students needed to follow 2 learning tracks. So in the one, they begin with digital design, so moving from 3D design to physical garments. So they start with, So in the one track, they begin with digital design, moving to 3D, to physical garments. And in the other track, they start with physical prototyping on the body and then digitize those patterns to simulate them on an avatar. So the key message is it's not either or, so physical and digital processes strengthen each other also within the education. So therefore, digital and physical projects should never be separated. They're always intertwined. And a final important finding is that students came to recognize the real value of digital tools. At first, many found virtual prototyping software a little bit overwhelming, which shows also the importance to really scaffold their learning. So that is really an attention point. We try to introduce this tool step by step. So through tutorials and guided examples. And we learned that a low threshold approach is very important. So set really small goals for each lesson so they could achieve already early in the process these tangible results. And I think what Fernanda showed with the playful approach, I think that's really that's the key to make it fun. And once they experience the possibilities, students, that was, I think, really great to see that students realized how digital tools really can complement their traditional manual processes. So they really didn't seeing it just as a tool, but they saw it really as a way to refine creative ideas, to test multiple variations more efficiently than physical sampling. And they experimented in real time with garments, shapes, color, and materials. So it was really adding something to their creative expressions. And they saw and they really appreciated that this ways of working not only expanded their design possibilities, but also reduced waste. So they acknowledged the supporting digital tools for sustainable practice in fashion design. So maybe, was it a bit too long, Christel? Maybe you can take over now and talk about
It's absolutely perfect. It's also difficult to say stop when you're just sharing all the great things. And yes, we did 3 different modules, but we all had the same approach of this, both analog and physical. And
yeah.
Thank you very much. And yes, so as for the next development, that was the U, and at the University of Ljubljana and Design School Koning, we chose to work with body scanning of people with special needs. The VDKA chose to use scanning of environments as a way of researching and understanding another person. I'll just also like to quickly share some of the just so you see some of the photos from what it could look like with the prototyping, and when we took it to the scanning, these will show examples of, on the left, you see we scanned with an app on a phone. It's possibly not as accurate as when you do a body scan. Most of you might have tried being scanned in an airport. Takes no time. It's the same for a body scan like that. But here we tried to use apps so the students could easily do it themselves. And I know at the University of Ljubljana, they use some other scannings. All this information is in the roadmap as well, where we have stated what kind of tools we used. We worked with with other people and the students, and the students learn what it's like to work with other sort of dedicated other end users. So you know them, so you get to understand the preferences and what they're like, and also do wardrobe studies to understand what have they already got in their wardrobe. What do you use? Because we all know if we look into our wardrobes, there might be things that we haven't for some reason used for years, and we think, okay, we'll use that, I don't know, when the weather's right for it, or whether I have the right weight for it, or whether when yellow is back in, or whatever it could be. So it's also, what do we have in the wardrobe? What do we actually literally use from the wardrobe? So all this information was gained, and the students then had collaborations and could work towards it. At the university in Ljubljana, they also had an external collaborator, Mile Vert, which is a company in Slovenia, and they worked also to try to adjust the clothes so it fitted into that collaborator there. I think what some of the findings here is really also, again, it's about scaffolding, because this is new territory and it's very complex when you start working with dedicated others, and you want to do good and do some nice design that fits into their preferences, but also still as a design student, you have to bring all the knowledge you have. And this is definitely something that we needed to adjust, that you don't just make what is already out there, but that you add something with all the both within aesthetics, but also within solutions and whatever it could be of closures and accessibility. So this was a course that really, these courses here really required something new. We really added to the teachers really had something added to it as well, and the students alike. The collaborations came out, I think, really with exciting things and with excitement. As at least the feedback we had was that the participants loved to be a part of this as well and be seen and be heard, because what we know from the fashion industry is there's a huge group of people that are underrepresented. It's all about standard sizes, standard shapes. Do you fit in or do you not fit in? And again, back to, we all know the wardrobe, and most of us will also know that we are not a standard size when it comes to at least the standardization from the industry. So this was about opening up possibilities. This was about working with real people and fitting them into it, and not just having to fit into the industry as well. As for the VDKR, I think you also worked with, you're scanning the environment to understand the others, not just from the person or from the body, but the representations, the cultural way of looking at it as well. And it could seem almost like a sort of anthropological way of also, you know, this is the habitat you live in, and what can you deduct from that? It's something, again, as also Aldje put it, is really about scaffolding here, but it's also scaffolding both the soft skills about interviewing and understanding the participant in the collaboration, but it's also very much adding now suddenly some other digital skills, but it is built on the avatars, new avatars. And when we did this last year, we used various ways of scanning. They will develop, some might fall away, some will be refined, and also the implementation within Clo 3D will also continuously work and make it easier, I take it, so we don't have to go via other so in this case, with the avatar you see here, for a seated person, it had to be cleaned up using Blender. We had no time for a design school calling to also introduce Blender into it. So we actually used some students from the industrial design department who knew all about Blender, and they helped cleaning up. So here was also, okay, I need a good friend, I need a collaborator, because also as a fashion design student, you don't need to, or designer, you don't need to know everything, but you need to at least have the knowledge of whom to ask and whom to reach out for. I think this is some sort of it up of the findings, that it's very important that, again, that it's scaffolded, that we build on what's already there, and then you build on the soft skills as well of what is required in collaboration as well, while introducing new methods that support this, the scaffolds, the understanding of the other. Aldje, do you have anything I need that I forgot to mention that was very important, or?
No, I think you covered yeah,
Okay.
the most important things for now. Yeah.
Yeah, good. And of course, also, if you go to the roadmap, you'll see we have chosen not to just sum up all the insights, but we're literally, because it's a progression, we are building on steps. So each step is unfolded, and you can go into the specifics of each module areas and see what the findings were from this specific area.
Yeah.
So this leads us to the final development we did together. And Aldje, will you tell a bit about us and what was developed there?
Yeah, so this was the last work package, module 3, us. So in this work package, our goal was to develop modules that explore virtual and hybrid fashion. And it was really about considering their future applications. So yeah, it was, as you understand probably already from Christel, we worked with the same cohort students. So me was first years, you was second years, and us is with the third year students of the Bachelor Fashion and Textile Design. And so we want the students to reflect on the broader impact of digital technologies on their professional practice. And actually, and the us is also about positioning, that students are able to position themselves within this rapidly evolving field where all these developments play a critical role. So across all modules, several themes emerged. So it was very much about a student-driven focus. So students were really in the lead. It had an interdisciplinary approach. It was about engagement with new technologies, and it was about future visions and storytelling. And also really important to mention, as a preparation, all teachers, educators connected to this project took part in an intensive train-the-trainer program, which the Willem de Kooning Academy organized in Rotterdam. And so these sessions were not only about expanding our own technical skills, because yeah, it's a lot like students. We also need to learn a lot. But it was also, so it was not only about the tools, but also exploring with each other what kind of pedagogical approaches would support student agency. And we experimented with a range of emerging technologies, so including 3D animation, making a connection between Clo and Blender. We experimented with immersive media such as VR and AR, and generative AI. So I would like to focus on 2 lessons we got out from this. And I think the first lesson is about the importance of critical reflection. So digital tools are not neutral. And my colleague Anouk van Klaveren has expressed this very well before. And she said, when we first opened Clo 3D, the default avatar was a white, able-bodied model with long legs. And while diversity in avatars has very much improved in recent years, what is interesting is that the way students are challenging these defaults, what is actually most powerful. So I think it's a very crucial notion of Anouk, is that she's saying students are not just designing garments, but they create new bodies and environments. And some cases of our students, this became almost like a political act. So they were addressing how queer bodies, for example, are represented in fashion. And for me, this shows a real potential of digital design, not only to speed up production, but to question norms and redefine actually what fashion can be and who it's for.
Mhm.
So the second lesson is about AI, like other digital tools. AI is not neutral either. And students are already experimenting with it, but often with clear guidance or ethical frameworks. And you probably recognize this. All art schools are working on this, like how do we deal with it? But we found that we feel like instead of ignoring or banning AI, we need to integrate it openly and teaching students and teachers to use it critically and creatively. And this also requires rethinking assessments. So much more valuing the process, the intent and the reflection on authorship as much as the final product. And I think by doing so, we encourage students to work more responsible with AI. And hopefully then it will support sustainability, inclusivity, and new forms of creative expression.
Yeah.
Finally, sorry, Christel, you want to say something?
No, it's so to the point and it's so great. I'll just say time is running a little bit. So if you also include...
I really would like to make one last
please.
point, because I think it's also very important regarding digital tools. And which was at all different schools, we were focusing on storytelling. And I would like to quote another colleague of me, Leroy van Halen. He said, fashion is a form of storytelling. It's not only about the garments. It's a narrative medium. And through fashion, designers can communicate ideas about identity, society, politics, and the natural world. And what we all learned in this project is that our role as educators is not to just teach garment making, but to help students develop stories through fashion. And today these stories are increasingly shaped by the digital tools. Maybe I leave it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
the thing is, I'll also just say that at the end of the day, we have a closing discussion, right? So there we can also go back to some of the things if we, sorry to cut you short, it's just if we want to also be able to hear what the others have to say. So that's just why. But yeah, so I mean, this was just some little extract from the roadmap. And we have also, now you hear this is very much, we talk from education constantly, that's what we can do. And that's also why now when we have our recommendations for industry, this is about educating within the industry. It's not telling them how to get the best financial results or such. We talk from education all the time. But we'll say what I have heard from people in the industry is like the lack of, it's difficult to motivate staff that's already there. They don't see the point. They don't think they have the time for it. They're already stressed. And the wheels of the fashion industry runs really exponentially extremely fast. So therefore, what we've summed up here is this is literally what we are actually doing with our students. It's like, know your employees. So we had surveys before, know their job function. So this could be, you think you know what they're doing, but that you need to know, but you also need to make sure the employees know where they fit in to the production development pipeline in order to, who's before me, who's after me, what do I get and what can I put further out. But it's also motivating through relevance, so they understand why, and the low digital complexity. So step by step, see some good, the goals are fulfilled already in a few steps. And also continued learning. This is developing all the time. So it has to be something that is not just be about learning one program, but understanding how to learn new programs and how this works. So it's more about also fostering digital literacy. So you are not behind if you don't know the latest one. You can feel behind very shortly, but understand how to learn more. And then, of course, it's very much about the culture in the company, and it's very much about time, allocating time for people to learn, because this is my belief. There's no better new version or new employee in your company than the one who's already there, who knows what it's about, but has been further educated and can bring that on to the next one. So that was from that. And then Aldje, you too had
some recommendations for policymakers.
yes.
Maybe you can also show the slide.
I will share this.
Yeah.
I have a little hiccup with my my just continuous sharing of it. So therefore
I'll start talking already.
Yeah.
The reality is that today's fashion system still relies very much on mass production. Standardized sizes, Christel is also already mentioning it, and a lack of attention to non-average body shapes. And we felt that it creates sometimes a gap what is made also by industry, but and what is actually needed. So we think that digital tools can help to close that gap, but it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. So on the one hand, digital tools can support sustainability and inclusivity. On the other hand, they can also accelerate fast fashion, adding more waste and more pollution. So we really think that this is why systemic challenges demand systemic changes. And this is where policymakers have a crucial role to play. And we would like, we have, I think, 3 key recommendations. First, I think that it is needed that funding is continued to develop open source knowledge and educational material. So please let us continue this research, especially I think now with AI. I think it would be great to develop more tools and methods. What cannot be locked away behind a paywall. They must be accessible to educators, students, and companies across Europe. And funding a Europe-based open source technology will accelerate innovation, but also very important, makes it hopefully more democratic and inclusive. Second, I think, or we think that it's important to promote and support collaboration between industry and education. Just one thing we did within the VDKA, you can find them also on the website. I would really recommend you to listen to it. We made a podcast with practitioners. And we made a podcast and we interviewed them about sustainability, and we found out it's so important that students have also good examples. They need good examples or best practices. But yeah, what I want to say is that the challenges of sustainability cannot be solved in silos. We really need policies that makes it easier for educators and companies to collaborate together. And at last is actually something I started with before, but there should be a dedicated focus on lifelong learning. So sustainability, inclusivity, and diversity are not one-time lessons. They require continuous learning at every stage of education. So from primary schools to secondary, higher school, and into professional life. And last a bit, Christel.
Yes.
I think the MIU project has shown us that international collaboration and this continuous professional development and this shared commitment are really essential for building a future-ready fashion education. And because no one has all the answers, but if we work together with students, educators, technicians, industry, and international partners, we hopefully can shape and change the fashion system, which is really still hard, very needed.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Aldje. Thank you. And yes, now we would like to, Tia, do you have a little some questions for us, or?
Yes, I will. Meanwhile, while looking at the questions, I will launch the poll so everyone can answer that.
And then we can perhaps even start with some of the questions. Yeah.
Yes, there's some notes from Ineke that it's fascinating to see what and how you all research within this project. And about reading all of it, there's a disclaimer that there's in sessions, you can find the roadmap, you can download it there, it's available. It's also in the email sent linked to this event. So the whole roadmap is available. And yes, would love to step in. Ineke, if you wanna, you can, I can unmute so you can speak. Yes, no,
Yeah.
Yes, I can speak, but I don't know. I have a lot to tell. But it's really interesting, nice, very nice to see how hard you worked on it, and how of course I want to read it what I write. But yeah, it's really a lot of education will have in. No, yeah, it's a step to step in. It's a good. Very informative, and it's with a lot of examples. That's good. People can need to understand where they need to go to, and how they can implement it. And same for the industry. But well, I can talk longer about this, but I only want to give you a big compliments, and
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think what is I think what makes the MIUS project special also is that it's done in practice. You know, it's learning by doing a lot, and I think this funding took us in this position to get in this into this mode that we learn by doing. And yeah, I think
and then in stages, so we can also look back, what worked, what didn't work, and then grow forward to the next development and like that. So
yeah,
it was really good. Are there any
at the same time, I'm trying
questions?
also to fill in the polls.
Right.
That's a
I
question.
hope you all have time for it.
Yeah, let's hear is there a question?
Yes. How can fashion companies collaborate more effectively with educators and students to integrate sustainable and inclusive practices? Do you have a comment on that?
Do you have a comment, or do you?
Sorry, what was?
You were looking at the poll?
Yeah, I was looking at the poll.
The question was, how can fashion companies collaborate more effectively with educators and students to integrate sustainable and inclusive practices? So maybe from you as educators' point of view, how you could see.
Yeah, I find it's a really very difficult question myself. So I hope the audience could actually maybe say something about that. We had really nice collaborations with the industry and people working in industry, but I also noticed that it was very much fragmented. due to also their workload and so for me what I'm looking for is a more sustainable also collaboration with industry and partners, and this is there. It would be really helpful if there is more that policymakers can really contribute to that. Also within the Dutch funding, it's when you do a research project, then there is money mainly for educators a lot, but not as much for the industry itself. I'm really struggling with that. So if there is someone joining,
if there's somebody from industry out there that's got
who can maybe respond to that.
Yeah, no, but this is also possible for others to come with. If you have examples of good experience with anything like that, please let us also know or comment on the recommendations we gave. Are these the right recommendations according to you, or no question, everything is really clear, or
There's another question if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want to jump into that
Yeah.
while people are commenting and answering to
Yeah.
the call. So it's about the lifelong learning that you
Yeah.
were talking about. How about sustainability and digital literacy accessible to all students. So how could we ensure that it will be accessible to all students, not just in higher education, and also should it start earlier and when?
Yeah, I mean, lifelong learning at best, it would start in the primary schools, and of course, be sort of within the spectrum of complexity. So, but there's so much that could initiate it. We had a webinar also at Design School Calling where we talked with people from within the field of especially sustainability for environment, and there were people already engaging in primary schools. What can we do there in higher education and so on? And this is to say, because I mean, we can educate the design students to really be in the know, but you need to really understand it from a child, and especially to when you become an adult and you are young, early 20s and so on, are the ones that spend the most or use the most clothes and so on. So it's very important to understand where you can make a change and a difference. If you want to be part of making a change and a difference, it's not about saying no to everything, but it's to understanding there's a consequence to everything we do, but it's just knowing the consequence and what kind of consequence and how big it is as well. So it's about starting in primary school, going all the way up, but also saying like you never arrived. You're never at the point, yes, kitching, I've arrived. I don't need any more to learn anymore, because as we, for instance, have seen with AI, when we started out, we were like thinking, oh, AI can come later. But now we actually also have to rethink, with AI, we can't wait to the third year to introduce or talk critically about AI, but we have to start in the first year of to talk critically about it and how it's used and so on. So the new inventions is exponentially speeding up how fast it is. So we have to keep up, and we have to understand also sustainability wise that the clothes, hardly any clothes with any polyester in anymore, with the plastic in. What is the impact on the earth when we do that, and then be able to make the choices that is sort of contextual, the best choice to make. And this is something everybody needs to know. Everybody needs to understand what they're part of, because we're all part of fashion. Even your uncle who claims he's not, but he's still a part of fashion in his own way. So, yeah. Aldje, do you have a comment to that as well, or is there any other comments or questions?
Yeah, I think I agree with you that a lot of work can still be done around the perception people have about what fashion is and how it actually is embedded in so much in our lives, and it's such an important aspect of our lives. And So yeah, I don't know how, but I really think that indeed, like more education and primary schools, secondary schools would really would be good. So
Mm.
yeah.
That also comes as a pop-up from the poll that how should lifelong learning in fashion be organized, that people are really agreeing on the integration into all education levels, primary, high end.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
great. It's so more people are up for educating through the whole spectrum.
Tia, do you have an overview of how people have been answering the poll? Can you show that, or?
I think you can now see it all.
No.
It's up
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, here it is. Oh
Now
yeah.
it's
Oh,
coming.
that's nice.
Yes.
Yeah. So we go through it.
I think we could go sum up it that way, that when we have the final discussion, that we can take this into there as we're coming
Okay.
to time, that it's
Yes.
our break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can share
Yeah.
the results also there.
That's a really good idea. We'll share the results, and also if somebody still wants to finish it or do one, they can, and I didn't have time for it, so we can do that as well. Okay. Well, this is now it's time for a lunch break. And now this to some might seem a little bit early, but this is also cultural education. This is how early we do it in Denmark. So now you know that. We're always a bit early on that. So lunch is till 12:30, where we all meet together, and where people can then choose to go to see one discussion on the me and you together in virtual prototyping, or go with the us track, which will be about AI, AR, VR. And if you're not just talking about the digital tools, it'll be about designing for others, or it will be designing with others, and the more collaborative narrative way of being designing as a fashion student. So for right now, I'll just say have a lovely lunch, all of you. I'll see you back here at 12:30. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. And check the chats. There's some interesting research done
Yes.
by others who are.
Thank you for sharing,
Super.
everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Bye.
Bye.